Welcome YouTube to another amazing episode of The Culture of Currency, the channel where we show you that anyone can create a love of silver by investing every month in coins from around the world. We choose to limit ourselves to $100 so that we can show a majority of you how to develop a cool collection. We also rank each coin in our 60-point scale to let you, the viewer, know what coins you should consider for your collection. I wanted to start off by giving a shout out to someone in the community I think is doing awesome, and that is CoinHound. In your spare time, go check out his channel. I think he's doing some awesome things and really dives deep into some cool topics. The silver community is a great one, and he's on his way up. Today I would like to focus on a coin that I got a while back from APMEX. It is my hope that I can provide you with enough information for you to decide if today's coin should be on your list. As you saw by the thumbnail, we are doing the Silver Pegasus from the British Virgin Islands. If you are not sure about where the British Virgin Islands are, they are a chain of about 50 islands in the Caribbean. Silver from the Caribbean always reminds me of pirates, but that's for another video. Most people don't think of Columbus when they think of the Virgin Islands, but he's the one who actually named them on a second trip across the pond in 1493. There is no direct evidence of what happened to the native people when Columbus arrived, but historians tend to think that the natives were either fled or killed. When the British took control of these islands, they started producing sugarcane, bringing Africans for slave labor. Yes, that's right, America is far from the only country that had slaves. English abolished slavery about 30 years before we did in 1834, leaving the profitability of the island a little bit less profitable. Hurricanes did the rest of the damage, bringing these islands into an economic decline. This is when the US bought the Danish Virgin Islands like St. Thomas, St. Croix, and then convinced the British Virgin Islands to link its currency with the American dollar. Now that you understand the territory a little bit better, let's take a look at this peculiar Pegasus. The coin is minted under the direction of the Queen at the Pobjoy Mint, who happens to have US offices in Minnesota if any of you are in the area. This is a 3/9 fine silver. When we look at the front, you will notice that the coin looks a little bit different than most. That's because this coin is what they call reverse cameo. This should make this coin a little bit more desirable, but I'm not necessarily sold on it. On the back we see the reverse Cameo Pegasus. I have no idea why they chose a Pegasus other than it's the offspring of Poseidon, who also created horses in Greek culture, and many island nations love to do things about Poseidon. The first coin that I know with a Pegasus is actually a silver denarius from about 75 AD. Anyway, the Pegasus is a great mythic creature with quite a pedigree. Another example of Poseidon being used in island nations in the Caribbean would be Barbados, who has a broken trident on their flag and 1-ounce coin, looks like this, which signify their breaking for independence, but that's info once again for another video. The back is highly detailed if you catch the light just right, but if you don't catch the light just right, this coin kinda lends itself to look like something you would find in a Disney souvenir shop for the animated movie Hercules. This is why I'm torn on how I feel about this coin. We do notice that there is a $1 denotation instead of British currency. This proves that I actually know somewhat of what I'm talking about when I said the currency is converted to the American dollar. Now that we have seen the coin up close, let's put it to our scale and see how she flies. On the front, we have about as bland a coin as you can be. The detail is well done and the frosting is well done, so I scored a 6. The back is so hard for me to judge. We have a small rim, which I actually like, with the frosted backing. We then have the reverse cameoed Pegasus, which under the light is spectacular, but at first glance is a little bit blurry. There's also 3 9s and a mint mark, which are tiny, which I think all coins should think about in the future. We know this coin is silver, and we can see how much. Why do you need to take 25% of the space of the coin to tell us that? I'll never get that. The coin is very interesting in the least, and there is not truly any problem with the balance, so I think it should still get an 8. Mintage is the next category and probably the strongest argument for this coin. There were 10,000 minted, which I consider extremely low. This was a good move on this coin. I do not think it would sell well when there are 100,000 on the market. Seeing that the biggest industries in the Virgin Islands are tourism and finance, I think they got this one right. It scores a 10. When it comes to cultural significance, I think this coin misses the mark. I get that it is in a series, and I get that it is in British territory, but nothing about this coin, other than the wording, really makes sense. The overwhelming majority of the population is black. The breakdown of native-born citizens in the workforce is in the minority. They could have really made this coin about something worth visiting the islands to see, but rather we got a Greek legend and a lady who may have visited the islands a handful of times. It scores a 1 from me, and only a 1 because Poseidon is loved by island nations. Collectability of this coin I find high though for 2 reasons. One is the low mintage, and the other is the Pegasus. This is a very relatable creature to the majority of the world. People in Rome probably do not desire to buy a Bigfoot or a Chupacabra coin, but I bet people in Canada would buy a Pegasus coin. This is at least relatable to the masses, and with only 10,000 coins out there, you better snag one, so I give that a 10. For uniqueness, this coin is unique in that it's in a series, but it's definitely not the only Pegasus coin out there. Here's an example of a Pegasus from the Solomon Islands. It's still a rare and unique coin, so I still give it an 8. This brings our final score to 43 out of 60. I'm glad I have this low mintage coin, but I'm so torn on what I feel when I look at it. Please let me know if I'm crazy or if you agree, and as always, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.